All right, what's going on, everyone? So, just going to put together something for you and for me. Um, at the end of January, trading. What I have in front of here is a quote, and today don't feel like doing my videos. I was deferring it to tomorrow, but because I was feeling tired, but I'm going to make a start to it now and see if I can get it done, or at least a mock-up version of it done. And with this quote in mind as motivation and as a reason for it. So let me get to my stats. January was a decent month overall for me. Monetarily speaking, not great, nothing to write home about, but I tightened up my process and will continue to do that going into February. There were some good opportunities in January. The ones that spring to mind were Mara, although a little bit more tricky to read, but had amazing range, and DWAC recently with that breakout over the $30, I feel was a massive opportunity missed. Um, and sometimes it's just one or two opportunities in the month where you make 80% of the money. It tends to be a case in trading, and where that is often the case. Um, so it's about being switched on always, if you can, and or as much as possible. I mean, you don't have to be a slave to the market. I've devised some hours that I'm at the market and preparing for the market, and the rest of it is leisure. So, um, on my Profitly, I recently did a post just to update where I was at with stuff, and I spoke about my plans going into the new year. Because last year and in previous years, I had often maybe sat at my desk almost all day long and just getting emotionally, mentally drained from staring at screens and trying to make money trading stocks. So that's going out the window now. I have evolved and developed myself as a trader, and I don't need to be putting myself through that kind of torture um, to make money in the markets. You can make money in the um, opening couple of hours and the closing couple of hours. That's generally what I've targeted for my trading. On occasion, I may trade outside of those hours, but largely that's my intention and game plan. Um, so this is my post on my Profitly, and I've gone over my weaknesses and my plans to fix and how I want to follow through this year. Um, Trading times there, that's what I alluded to there, and it's about 4 or 5 hours on the day really that I want to be spending in the act of watching the markets and preparing for the markets. Now, in the after or in the on the weekends, I still put in my 4 or 5 hours a day because I still feel that I'm in a kind of a grind mode where I do need to keep my eye on it. I haven't made any major breakthroughs financially with my trading, so um, I want to keep my foot down uh, on the pedal as much as possible and be ready for the opportunities, especially around this time of the year in the markets, January, February, March, even December. They tend to be ice from what I can see so far in my experience, and it's been said by many experienced people, the most volatile and opportunity filled part of the year is around this time of year. So this is my new trading rules, and 2 trades max per day. Slipped up a little bit towards the end of the week, a little bit too much trading and a little bit too much commission spent. For example, on Friday I spent $11 on commissions. Overall last week I spent $35 on commissions. So that is, at that rate I'm going to be paying 120 per month in commissions, which is over my target, my limit, because I don't want to be paying a lot in commissions. So next week, my overuse of the commissions will carry through, and instead of 5 per day, I have an average of 3 executions per day. So that's buy, sell, or maybe buy, add another piece and sell, or whatever way I want to do it. But over the course of the week, it's going to be 3 times 5, it's 15 per week, because last week I spent $10 more than I had intended as part of my new process. So it's going to make it, it's actually, I think it's a good thing, because next week I'll go into next week and I'll be even more selective, because I still have that over trading thing where I'm just taking a little bit too many trades. And if I miss a trade, for example, the last trade that I took was probably the best example, where I took a trade and just really the trade was not um, in it was not in a perfect spot to be taking the trade. It was a Friday afternoon. There was a possibility for a trend change and a kind of a short squeeze on DWAC, but it had already spiked um, from from the this was the 50 moving average, but it was spiked from about 36.40, and I'm getting involved in pretty much around $38. So um, I'm looking for that reversal kind of spike. I think we might get it still, or this might just go dribble sideways and then drop next week, who knows. But oftentimes after a big pullback there is a bounce of some sort, so there has been this bounce, but really the better entry here was in or around this area. When I'm chasing it much higher like that, it's just a case where the odds become less and less, and it becomes more of like a 50-50 setup, and I'm trying to stay away from the 50-50 setups. I mean, there's no point in trading 50-50 setups. um, so yeah, it just basically cost me more in commissions. There's one entry, that's $1, another dollar, another dollar, so it's $3 there, and added on to a $6 loss, so it's a $9 loss. So it was just unnecessary, didn't need to take it. I had already exceeded my quota, so I should not be taking a trade like that. So the plan going into February is to cut down on the overtrading tendencies. It was pretty much, I think I put the word boredom in here. I mean, boredom trades just get you into trouble more often than not. They're just an absolute waste of time. Very often I'm kind of bored, it's not really set up right, I won't take a full size position. I'll just start off with 3 shares, and then that's what I did, and I added a few more then. So it's just like 2 commissions for no reason, $2 in commissions. And then when it comes down, I'm kind of like averaging down on the position, which is, there's a few rules broken there on that one. Generally try not to average down unless it's part of the initial plan, where I take an entry with a really small size just to see. Maybe I feel like I'm late and I take the small size, just in case it is going to continue. I want to still be part of it. So it's kind of trying satisfying that FOMO side of it. But yeah, anyway, what else can I get through and talk about? I have updated my trades into Profitly, and I've updated my recent trades into my setup tabs. And yeah, it's just a lot of trades taken in January. So we are here. So if let's just see how much we're up or down. I'm guessing we're down about from what I gather, it's about 100 quid. So it hasn't been a perfect month by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, minus 69. Um, so I'm going to go through some of the trades. I apologize that the screenshots you're going to be seeing here are not perfect, but on the ones worth talking about, I'll get up the screenshots in another folder because I have all my screenshots in my trading records of the trades that I've taken. All right, so we'll go to my trades. Oh, let's just see. Yeah, microphone is on. That's good. Turn it up a small bit. And yeah, sorry, that was DWAC. And RVSN has been a good mover this month. Yeah, this was choppy, but it was worked out well in the end. And a little bit too much commissions used there. That's $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 in commissions, and I gained 18, so I really only gained $12 there on that one. So I got in, I stopped out. I really got in there, and I should be allowing for the pull to the VWAP area to allow that room for error and only have my stop below there. So I really don't know why I took an entry there and then stopped out. It was unnecessary, and then I got back in. So that was just a bit of a waste of commissions and maybe a bit of a sign of a poorly planned, not perfectly planned trade. And maybe it's the kind of a case, sometimes I see the stock moving and I think I'm going to miss it, and I kind of jump in when it has surged because I think it's going to like really surge without me, and I don't want to miss it. So, but I think the most important thing is, if that happens to you on these plays, is to look left, look at what's happened prior on the chart, and if it's a case where it's been pulling back harshly to certain levels, to VWAP or even under, the likelihood is that that's the way the stock is going to behave on this day. So you shouldn't really be fearful of missing, because it's highly likely that it's going to pull back and allow you an entry, a better entry. So that's something for me to take note of going forward on these plays. Really, an entry down here at the 8s on the VWAP 50 EMA pull would have worked well. One entry, maybe add on a pull here and take profits here. At this point I thought it was done, that's why I sold as it bounced back up, but proved that it had still a bit more of a push in it. If we look at RVSN move overall, it's been a good mover. So this was the day, a Friday, where I was trading it. 15-minute chart here, and I think this was one where it could have been a really good win, one of those big ones, had I been a little bit sharper to see that okay, this pre-market action has shown a bottoming. If this spikes at the open, that's likely to be, or it can be, a case where if it's making that direction at the open, not going down, then it's going to be a positive green day. So especially on a low float stock. they recently did the reverse split as well, and they had interesting news, good news on rail networks. I think there was AI in the name or something like that. I can't be sure. But that was that one. Got me 2.5% gain. Nothing brilliant, but can improve on that one. DWAC swing trade. Yeah, DWAC. I think I traded it the day before. So this was where I got involved in DWAC. It had come down quite harshly. It had come down for a few days. So it gone up really harsh and then come back down on 1 day, 2 days, and it was starting to kind of level out a bit here into this trading range. I got involved in this trading range, but my entries were not brilliant. I would have preferred if I had the patience to wait for this pullback and got involved closer to the base here. Instead, I'm getting involved up here, and I sold in pre-market. I think it was up here, so not bad. I didn't want to wait around, but had I waited around and been patient for that move to 40, you know, or even taking it off in here in the high 38s, you know, could have got a bit more out of that trade. If we look at the executions on it, I don't have the execution entries because the next day when I took the screenshot it was gone. I only have the exit, but here it is anyway. Let's have a look at it. So anyway, I don't want to lose sight of things. I just want to see the overall picture of my trades in the month, but I think going through each trade is important. So you can see the daily here and it's pulled back, and then this is the green data that it's put in here. So you can see that it respected the previous day's close. Here was kind of the point where it didn't go below. We'll get that surge in the morning. Yeah, I had drawn this downward trend line, and it yeah, if I remember correctly, I had drawn the trend line coming down here, and that's why I felt like there was some sort of a breakout of a downward trend overall on this one. But now you have arguably this one, so it's important to pay attention to all spikes and see if it has some sort of a pattern. It does. You can see it comes right up to that downward trend line. So there is some sellers and short sellers up here kind of waiting heavily maybe with sell orders at this position, and you can see it kind of comes up at it in the evening but pulls back. So this might revert back down, or it might have broken out of that trend. I tend to think that there might be some sort of a decent bounce left in this one because it's now stabilized. It seems it's inching a bit higher, the lows are a bit higher, so maybe, just maybe, we have something nice and juicy setting up for Monday. But you know, it could go. These can be tricky. These can let you down. So I don't think it's the best situation. I think the breakout, like I mentioned at the start of the video, the breakout of the 30 area, and I was around that day, and I traded it, and unfortunately I botched it. Let me show you. So it was it would be in my breakouts. Let me see. Anyone see listed breakouts there? Okay, thank you. Um, Listed breakout 2024, right? January piked. That's a trading definition, or sorry, a trading slang for when you buy a stock and you sell it and it goes way fucking higher and you're missed out. It's called a pike. I piked it. That's why I sarcastically put that down as GOAT, greatest of all time. Got a bit interrupted there, and yeah, so massive Green Day. But you see the potential when you get on the right side of things. This was a carryover frustration from the previous day, and I journaled it. And ultimately, what happened was I was starting to get really angry with myself about my discipline. So I was starting to really like monitor my trading like rigorously, like with pure. There was like a little touch of anger in my approach, and it was like I was improving, no doubt. And I got in here, but I was a little slightly dissatisfied with my entry because it was chasing a spike, and then it was pulling back here, and it started to pull back here. And again, this is a case of not letting it enough space. And I was like, I was down on my position here. I know it looks like it's higher, but it had come down here to a level that's lower than here where I got in. And I was like, and the previous day I had taken a max loss, $25 if I remember. And I was like, no, I'm not letting this come all the way back on me. My entry was crap. Just get out of it. And I slammed the bid, or whatever you want to say. I exited the position, and it was just the wrong decision. I should have let the thing run. I had no reason to get out before my stop. I had upped my stop, just a pure kind of frustrating because I was in that kind of slightly the wrong mindset. I mean, it's good to be impatient with your losses. Like, I mean, there's a famous trader, I forget who it is, but he's impatient with his losses, and I mean, if he gets involved in a trade, and if the trade is just not doing what he wants after a certain period of time, he just loses patience and he just gets rid of the position. He's not going to sit around and wait for it all forever. So, you know, I'm getting closer to, you know, you're never going to be perfect in trading, so this kind of thing can happen. So you just got to take some encouragement from the fact that I spotted I was in the right place, you know, just, you know, I am getting into the right places. I am sniffing out the trades that have the potential, and you know, I mean, if I just keep it up, I mean, surely it's a matter of time before I get a real big one. But anyway, it is probably a case where I could have really, this is a place where I could go all in, and you know, obviously with some sort of a risk management setup in place, but you can go in heavily, put all your chips in, as I say in poker, and go all in for a big winner. Maybe say, look, I'm going to go all in and I'm going to swing this, and if it's up near the end of the day and you're happy with how it's been going, you can certainly take some off. I mean, you would be crazy kind of not to. And you can see this is madness after hours, but even here it goes higher and pulls back to 40 and goes higher, and then now we're at a point where, you know, there are levels of resistance here now. So it's hard to know how well it can do. Volume has dropped off, so it is hard to know if there's any juice left in this, because it has come a long way. And but that's that one. So DWAC, the other big trade, let's see. So at DWAC, yeah, that was the previous day that I mentioned. And that was another interesting one where I just got a bit too keen on it. Big news, and I suppose I learned a bit from this one. And I've got caught out on these ones before that have come up on big news, almost like perfect news. It's like a perfect news is like uh, Evaxion to develop tailored novel cancer vaccines, and then also not only that was AI was in the name, like because they have an AI technology or something that they're using. So it was cancer vaccine. Imagine that, like with AI, and it's just like you couldn't get more of a kind of a perfect headline. So I knew this one was going to be quite explosive, and it surely was. It was just a little bit kind of too bipolar, if you want to use that expression, because there's a halt up here, but it was quite volatile before that. You can see the range here. I got caught out in this area, and I was out of the trade. And then it's just you don't want to get too high expectations on these because they can surprise you in um, how far they don't actually go in the end. So you can see it's now pulling back. So a lot of people were wrong side bag holders, I guess, and they just got let down by this one. So it's happened to me before, and I've kind of learned not to be too aggressive on them. And if you look at my entries and exits, this is me getting in pre-market, and I took a little piece off pre-market. So I'm 15 shares at 30 shares, take off 15, small profit. Then down here, I get caught out on this candle. I add it back to full size and then get stopped out right down here at the day's lows. So that was a tough one to take. Tried it later on then, but stopped out. So there is another example of too many commissions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it did kind of get me. So lost 25 plus 8, $33 on that one. So that one really got me out, and it was one that was with good potential, but I just didn't quite play it well enough. And what really caught me out was the chase of the spike. Um, so if we go to a 1 minute chart, you see what I mean. This candle was just pure nasty, pure nasty. Where is it now? What day was the trade? January 24th. Yeah, there, right? This was the candle that got me. So you said I got in here, got added, sold here. Then I wanted to re-add. I thought this was going to break. I re-added 950s, 951 to full size, and then I got stopped out like 870 or 870 or 8 something like that. Only to see the thing then surge back up into a halt. So that was annoying. I mean, I thought this was the surge into the halt, but just about stopped and pulled back harshly, screwed me over, and then went higher. So that was a tough one. Just a bit too keen on it. Now, huge gap up breakout, RVSN, yeah, RVSN. Alright, I'm gonna close up the video. I'm tired now. This was the breakout day. Gap up, trees all the way to 9, crazy move. And I got a small piece of that, but I think I traded it quite well, if I remember. 3 to 4, yeah, there was a big pullback here, which gave me vindication. But then it actually goes way higher. So, but that's nasty. That candle is just nasty. I mean, these penny stocks can be nasty. You gotta be so careful. Where is that? 3 to 4. In the 3 minute chart, you can't really see it well, but that's it there, I believe. First green day. Yeah, that's it there. Just nasty action. You want to be careful about chasing spikes on these kind of plays that are volatile like that with these kind of wicks. You chase spikes, you're gonna get burnt eventually if you do. I was happy with 7.8% gain on it, even though this thing kind of like doubled from where it was, so it did leave a lot on the table. More than doubled. Mad, crazy move. So it's a good time of the year for trading if you can get it right. What else? Yeah, that was SGMT. Another first green day. First green days are been my best pair so far, from what I can gather. I'm gonna have a look at my stats tomorrow in more detail. But certainly first green days. If I go into my stats, you can see these are first green days I've taken in January. So we'll see how we're doing. 58. So we're up, not majorly, but we're up. Couple of max losses there, costing me, and that's a near max loss. And some of my other trades, swing trade, January, down in swings, that was a poor one on Piton. But scalps, we've been open on my scalps. It's pretty good scalp to take 7%, but AUVI, I couldn't really find a better category to put that into. That was on the 16th. And let's have a look. Yeah, TGL, they were the sub pennies, got done on a couple of sub pennies this month. So I'm going to be, or sorry, sub dollar stocks. I'm going to more often than not be avoiding them ones. It's funny to find that I don't do too well on them. They can be very, very tricky, and they can be very rangy. They can catch you out. They can be deceptively rangy. So I tend to stick to the $2 to $10 area or even higher. And I was going to go January 16th to UVI. So yeah, I was patiently waiting for this. Yeah, this was the next day. Could call it a panic dip buy, I guess. So it's come from 340s to, yeah, that should be, let me just have a look. January 16th. So 342 to 270. Let's just see. I want to see how much. Yeah, it is kind of a panic dip buy, but this is already squeezed out massively. The next day, it's gapping down. Caps down the next day. We get it briefly spiking 340s, 3.42 say, and then it drops to 273, the red green, is it? 2.73. Why is that red green? The previous day is open, is it? Yeah, and that's the 20% drop. That's the panic dip buy. And so that was wrong. Calling it a scalp. So go back in here. We'll get AUVI. Take it out there. Put it in there. Delete it. And sort that out. So just want to make sure I'm labeling my trades correctly, and then when you're looking back at your stats, you can be confident that you're getting a clear, accurate picture of your performance. So let me just get down to January 16th. We'll tidy it up, and then I'm going to close off the video. So hope you got something. I mean, you're getting a glimpse into my process here. Man, it's tedious. I mean, this is all the background work that goes in, taking trades, reviewing, looking at what you did right and where you were making your mistakes, and that's how you improve over time, slowly, as a trader. But ultimately, it's risk management that will make or break you as a trader, and it's been a huge focus in January. And I plan to maintain that focus on risk going into February. So one of the key things for me is to not allow those emotional blow up days to happen, and in January I have not prevented that enough. There has been 2 or 3 occasions where I lost the discipline. So I mean, this was the blow up around the 5th of January, and then we have this issue here. So anything there I had trades where I should not have been taken, or where I completely lost discipline, they will get a red box. So then I can try and eliminate those situations in future. So we had this one here as well on TGL. So this is the weeding out these trades will turn my poor months into good months, and my good months into great months. So you should not see any more trades over $25 risk in February if I'm doing my job. So it's a good place to start to close off the video. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, my results are not typical. Or maybe they are actually. They still are typical. So I can't say that. I say my results are typical, but do not take anything I say as financial advice. This is for informational and educational purposes only. And best of luck. Thanks for tuning in.